if you're just getting started with working online, you're probably asking yourself, which skill should I get started with? Because we have lots of information of people telling you transcription is easy, content writing is easy, virtual assistance pays well. And of course, as somebody who's just getting started, somebody who's new to all these, you're wondering, so which one should I go with? Which one pays well? Which one is easy to learn? Like, you have so many questions. So in this video, I'm going to try to answer all those questions. I'm going to take you through these skills, and I'm also going to tell you how you're going to go about picking the right skill for you. So without further ado, let's jump straight to it. So let's talk about the skills first. Skill number one is content writing, and that's what I do. I love content writing. I've been doing it for a very long time. So content writing involves you writing content for businesses, basically writing things like blog posts, articles, case studies, white papers, emails, social media posts, and whatnot. So anything that involves you writing content falls under the category content writing. And businesses are willing to pay lots of money to content writers because content writers help them spread the word, and in other cases, educate their target audience about a product or a service. So for example, if a business maybe sells things like a mattress, they're going to hire a content writer to talk about mattresses, to talk about things involving mattresses or bedrooms. So maybe something like tips to get better sleep, something like how to buy the best mattress, and things like that. So the goal of writing is just to help people become aware of the product, become aware of the business, trust the business, and eventually buy something from the business. And you can see why businesses are willing to pay money to get people to help them with that. Another reason is writing is not just sitting and typing. It involves a lot of persuasion. So they need content writers with copywriting experience to help them with this. The second skill is transcription, and this one, like content writing, is near and dear to my heart. And the reason that is it was the first skill that made me the first dollar online. So of course, you see why I love transcription. So transcription involves you listening and typing. So listening and typing. And the client is going to share an audio file with you or a video file with you, and your work as a transcriber will be to listen to that audio file and type exactly what it is you're hearing. We have different kinds of transcription. We have verbatim and non-verbatim. So for the case of verbatim, you're going to type everything as you hear, so including the arms, the starters, the filler words. And for the non-verbatim, you're going to remove the filler words, the false starts, and basically things that do not add value to the transcript. Businesses hire transcribers, so people like you, to transcribe files into written form of content that are going to use for different reasons, whether it's to repurpose or create blogs, articles, social media posts, or in other cases, they even use it to write books. And in case of legal transcription, they use those transcripts for legal reasons. The third skill is virtual assistance, and I've had many people saying they want to learn virtual assistance because they assume that it is the easiest skill. But contrary to that, virtual assistance is not just one thing. It involves a range of tasks. So for the most part, you might be handling administrative tasks. So things like email management, calendar management, scheduling, and other small tasks. But you can also specialize and now go deeper. So instead of offering general services, you can decide to narrow down your focus to one area, something like project management or graphic design or copywriting or lead generation. And in that case, you're going to call yourself a lead gen VA or a project management VA. So the latter, which is a specialized VA, earns more money compared to a general VA because, again, you are specialized, and clients are willing to pay you top dollar if you are a specialist. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot work as both. In my experience, I've seen many VAs start out as admin VAs and then later on now branch out to an area that they feel most confident in. So you can try that. Start with general VA, then later on transition to something very specific. Number 4 is lead generation, and lead generation involves you helping the client to attract or to bring in leads. So in many cases, businesses are targeting some clients. Like if the business sells mattresses, of course, they're targeting companies that maybe sell mattresses if this is a wholesale business, or maybe they're targeting customers who want mattresses. So as a lead gen, your work will be to bring these customers back to the business, okay? And of course, you're going to use different ways. You can maybe share content on social media. You can share content on their blog post. You can reach out directly to customers via emails, via their calls, so-called calling and whatnot. It's quite a process, but again, as a lead gen, you need to understand something called the funnel, from the top part being awareness. So you creating awareness about the customer's product, then leading people down. Once they're aware, you can give them more information that is going to get them to maybe want to buy from the customer, and finally, you can close them into buying clients. So it's not complicated. In fact, it's pretty interesting, and the best part is businesses are willing to pay lots of money, because remember, you're bringing in the money. You're bringing in the customers or the prospects who are eventually maybe going to convert into buying clients. And of course, they're bringing in money to the company. So you can command a higher price for lead generation. Next, we have social media management. And I think most of us know how to go about social media. So if you're going to work as a social media manager, you're going to do more than just post things online. You're going to create this content, like you're going to figure out how to create content that educates the prospect, as well as content that now sells the product or the service that your client is offering. So you're going to come up with a schedule, maybe a weekly schedule, maybe a monthly schedule of the posts that you're going to be sharing. Sometimes the client will want you to know how to use tools like Buffer, maybe Hootsuite, and also you're going to be responsible for sharing graphics. So again, you need to know a bit of graphic design, and Canva is a good tool for that. And lastly, you're going to be responsible for sharing ads or running ads if the client wants to boost content or to reach a wider audience. And you're also going to be responsible for responding to DMs, comments, and sometimes if there's a disgruntled client, you'll be responsible for helping de-escalate the issue. Next, we have digital marketing. And honestly, I feel like digital marketing is very broad for somebody who's just getting started to say, I want to learn digital marketing, because it involves everything that I've just discussed. It involves content creation, transcription, lead gen, email management, social media, like it involves everything else. Because again, like the name suggests, digital marketing, it's everything that you do to market the business online. So running ads, creating content and whatnot. So if you want to get into digital marketing, I would highly encourage you to pick one skill so that it serves as a gateway to the digital marketing, because you need to understand these basic skills before you are able to offer digital marketing as a whole. Next, we have email management and email marketing. And while these two skills are slightly different, they have some similarities, and so I'm going to talk about them in this same part. So for email management, you're going to be responsible for helping the client manage their email. So making sure that your client's inbox is clean and that everything is prioritized, categorized, and labeled. And in some cases, the client can also have you respond to emails. So you'll be in charge of automating things. So let's say maybe the client receives common messages about marketing inquiries. You can just automate responses and whatnot. So basically that will be your responsibility as an email management VA or an email manager. And for email marketing, you are going to be responsible for marketing your client, because remember, most of them have subscribers and they want to communicate with these subscribers. So you're going to be responsible for that. And I always advise you to learn copywriting if you're going to specialize in email management, because for the most part, you're going to write emails to these subscribers, and these emails are intended to promote products or services that the client offers. And also, as an email marketing VA, you also need to familiarize yourself with some tools that clients use to automate these messages. We also have data analysis, and if you ask me, it's one of the most lucrative skills to learn in this day and age of big data. So companies have lots of information, they have lots of data, but some of them don't know how to organize this data so that they're able to interpret it very well. Now, as a data analyst, you'll come up with processes that are going to allow the client to organize this data in a way that it is easy for them to visualize and make informed decisions based on the data. So again, like I've said, it's a very good skill. I'm personally looking to learn a few things about data analysis so that maybe in the coming days I'll work as a data analyst. Next, we have SEO, or search engine optimization, and I love to think it as part of digital marketing because for the most part, SEO is just you optimizing content so that it can be found on Google or other search engines. So for the most part, you need to know how to write blogs so that you're able to optimize them. Or you need to know how to optimize videos and video content so that they can be found on these video platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So for the most part, as an SEO expert, you also need to know how to do keyword research because people use words to search for information. So you need to know how to find these words. And again, you have tools like Ahrefs, we have tools like Moz, we have tools like SEMrush that allow you to do this. So as an SEO expert, you'll need to familiarize yourself with these tools so that you're able to pull out the keywords that clients can use when they're writing articles, that clients can use when they're making videos, so that when people are searching for those exact words, this content shows up in the top spots of search engines like Google, YouTube, TikTok, and whatnot. In addition to keywords, you also need to be good at link building, optimizing images, using alt text, using the right title tag, using meta description, ensuring that the client is using external and internal links, and so many other things. But if you ask me, SEO is one of the most interesting fields to venture into. Beyond the skills that I've just mentioned, we have other high-paying skills, and good examples are artificial intelligence, data analysis, project management, web development, data science, cybersecurity, cloud computing, software development, sales, robotics, graphic design, coding, analytic reasoning, and many, many other skills that you can just learn when you go on Google and search for high-paying income skills. With that, I guess the million-dollar question is, how do you go about picking the right skill? So the formula that I love using is, first of all, asking my students to think about the things that they are already good at. So what is the thing that people always tell you or ask you to help them with? Do they tell you to help them key in things on the computer? Do they tell you to write emails for them? Do they tell you to help them maybe figure out something they can share on their socials? What do people ask you to do? Because that can be a very good pointer to something that you are good at. Or alternatively, maybe you went to school, you studied something like media, and maybe you're good with cameras, editing, and whatnot. So start with self-discovery because these can help you figure out something that you are already good at. Next is you want to explore the digital ecosystem to figure out what is out there. And in this video, I've already shared a couple of skills that you can take on. So go ahead and look at the list, figure out something that you feel might come natural for you or something that you feel you can handle. So for example, I personally did not study anything to do with content writing. But when I saw what was out there, I got interested and I was like, yeah, this is something that I might want to do. And that's literally how I got started with content writing. The next thing is you want to match your skill to the demand that is out there, because I cannot say that I'm very good at sweeping the house, yet clients are not demanding for that. So you want to make sure that the skill that you're picking is in demand. Like right now, you realize that AI is the new kid in the block. So of course, if you want to enter the market, that can be a good starting point. Like everybody is talking about AI and maybe I know a thing about AI. So I might want to start with AI. And again, you're going to do an inventory of what you can do with regards to AI. Do you want to write with AI? Do you want to create images with AI? Do you want to create videos with AI? Figure that out and then now go all in. But that is not to mean that once you've picked a skill, you have to stick with it to the end. It's okay to pivot. So once you go in and you figure out this thing is not working for me, transition to another thing. Like me, when I was starting out, I started as a transcriber. And yes, it was paying me so well, but I didn't like it because it kept eating my ear, the earphones. And I was like, hey, this is not something that I want to do long term. So I transitioned from transcription to content writing. So basically what I'm trying to say is it's okay to pivot. You can pick these, figure out it's not working for you, and decide to pick the other. And once you have picked a skill, so something like content writing, this is now the time for you to focus, okay? Go on YouTube, go on Google and read as much as you can about content writing. Watch as many videos as you can about content writing. And keep in mind, these are skills, okay? You cannot learn by listening or you cannot learn by reading. but you can learn by practice. So you're going to practice the heck out of it. Give yourself 1 month of practice every other day so that eventually you become good at it, so much so that clients are willing to pay you for that. And again, keep in mind that these are skill-based work. So no client is going to hire you just because they know you, or they're not going to hire you just because you've said that you know what you're doing. They need to see that you can handle the work that you're applying for. So again, take time to practice, make sure that you're good at it, and all the best.